Wow, I look like a real asshole right now.
Yo, you're watching Bird Up, the worst show on television.
I look like a football fan. It's too hot. I can't actually drink it yet. Before you click away, I know this is a sports video, and I know not everyone likes those, but I promise you that this... I was going to say I promise you that this one won't be as boring, but we're literally talking about probably the most boring play in all of sports. Today we're talking about punting in American football. Now, punting, it's boring, not exciting. For those of you who may be lay people to the sport, punting is what you do when you're a coward, essentially. John Boyce, our Lord and Savior, did a fantastic long-form video about the cowardice of punting. He ranked the 10 saddest punts in the world, in the history of football, at least as far back as he could find them. Actually, no, I think it was just 2000. That's not really important. You have 4 downs to get a first down and continue marching down the field, hopefully to score, to get in the end zone as an offensive team. But sometimes you get to 4th down and you don't want to turn the ball over and give the other team the chance to score from that position. So instead, you bring out the guy who looks least like an NFL player to prevent the other team from scoring easier. But in doing so, you have to give up. You just have to say, look, we're done. We're not going to do it. We're just kind of hoping you don't too. And we're going to make it a little bit harder for you. It's strange. And that's why today I want to talk about how strange it is and how I frankly feel that it is unique. I don't think there's really anything else in any other sport that's perfectly analogous to it, at least that is legal. So I'm just going to go through the different sports and we're going to sort of try to compare things to punting, and then I will try and explain at the end why I wanted to make a video about punting in the first place, which I'm realizing is now probably going to be a lot harder than anything else. Hey, before we get into that, I just want to say you should subscribe if you're enjoying this video or other videos, or even if you don't like them, maybe just subscribe out of spite. That'd be cool with me. Every subscription gives me 1 tear of joy, and I will record myself crying for days and days and days if I get enough subscriptions, and then I will show that to the world. So thanks. Basketball is my favorite sport. So basketball probably has the least analogous play to a punt in football, and that's sort of by nature of the sport. In basketball, there's a shot clock, so you only have a limited amount of time on offense to begin with. So it's not really beneficial or helpful in most situations to ever give the ball away, because you're only going to have those 24 seconds usually in the first place. The nature of the sport is sort of antithetical to the idea of a punt. That being said, I do think there's a play that is relatively similar to the punt, and that is the hack-a-shack or hack-a-whoever. When a player steps onto the court, they are a poor enough free throw shooter that you are just going to intentionally foul them and put them on the free throw line. Again, it's a form of basically giving up. However, I don't think it's exactly the same. That's the defense making a decision to do that. The defense says, hey, we would rather you not have this possession, and we will give you an opportunity for free points, and we are going to bet against you and say that you are not going to make those free throws, or if you do, we're going to bite that loss because you'll probably score more if we don't do that for you. Punting is the nature of an offense giving up. The defense doesn't make a decision. The defense just says, okay, well, if you run a play, we will play regular defense, hopefully stop you and get the ball at that exact spot. But if you punt, yeah, we're cool with that because that's getting the ball for free. We know for sure that you will not be getting possession, unless you fumble the kick return or I don't know, whatever. There's a million stupid things that happen in football because football's stupid. So it's a little bit different. It's sort of the converse relationship of punting. But I do think it's similar in nature where you're sort of just giving up. So I do think there are some similarities there, but I would say that the hack-a-shack is probably more similar to something like an intentional walk in baseball, as there's a drive into deep left field by Castellanos. And I say that because that's sort of the same idea where the defense is saying, hey, look, we will let you go to the free throw line. We will put another man on base because the prospect of it is that it will ultimately benefit us in the long run. It's not a play of cowardice. It's a play of strategy. In baseball, I feel like there are a couple of things that people might compare to punting, but I don't think any of them are all that sound. One of the ones that I feel like I've seen come up before is the sacrifice fly. And I think it makes sense that people would compare it to punting, but I don't think it's very similar at all. In baseball, you can intentionally take an out in exchange for a run if you are in that situation. Now, granted, there are some similarities. It's still the whole idea of giving up. As the offense, you're saying, like, hey, we don't really want to try and get a hit. We'll just take the run. In that situation, the offense is doing that because they want to score. The offense gets something out of that deal. Punting, you kind of don't. I mean, if you're the offense, I guess you do, right? The whole idea of field position, you don't want the other team to be closer to score. You don't want that to happen. So there is a reason behind punting. It's not like it's just this exercise of futility, but it also is a little bit, right? I think it might be more analogous to punting if it was a situation where, I don't know, you hit a sacrifice fly, but a sacrifice fly counts for 6 outs, and then you don't bat again until 2 innings later. But that's not how baseball works, because baseball's stupid. He shoots and scores! Now that brings us to probably the closest thing that we will get to punting, which is from hockey. But it's funny because it's simultaneously the closest we get to punting, while also being the furthest away because it's basically outlawed. There isn't really a play in hockey. I guess you would just call it clearing the puck, where the offense has the puck in their zone if you're on defense, and you just say, hey, look, we're just gonna get this John out of here real quick. We don't want anything going on here. We don't need the puck. We just want to reset, get things back into neutral ice, maybe make a nice hit, get down into our own offensive zone, and then get to work. The problem with that is that in hockey, there's a rule, icing, so you cannot actually do that very well. If you have possession of the puck and you pass the puck or shoot the puck or whatever it is, and it goes beyond the 2 red lines, that's icing. And then what happens is the puck comes back to the initial zone that you're in for a face-off, so you accomplish nothing. Nothing is accomplished by doing that. You can still clear the puck in cheekier ways. So I guess in certain scenarios, it's not like it's outlawed, but I do think that there's a little bit of a difference there because of that. However, if the other team is on a power play, if they're a man up, you are allowed to do that. You can clear the puck all the way down the ice. There's no icing, and nothing happens. And you can reset. You can take your time. And you can kill the power play. So I would say that's probably the closest thing to punting in all other sports, but punting's different, man. Punting obviously makes a lot of sense situationally. I certainly wouldn't say that. If you're at your own 10-yard line and it's 4th and 10, the chances of you getting it and then even going down the field to score compared to the risk of giving the ball up there, yeah, it's ridiculous. But it's just sort of strange. It obviously makes a lot of sense. If you never punted, you would probably lose by like 100 in a handful of games, and you don't want that. I would be curious to know what that would look like, just a team that never punted. Maybe like their punter and their kicker were injured, and none of the other players had legs, and but they were still really good at football somehow. I'd be curious to see that. I'd watch that game. But I wanted to just talk about the idea of how strange punting is. It's just very foreign. there's not a lot of other things in sports where you would just benefit from giving up. That's weird, right? In a sport that is so uber competitive and macho, manly, we're going to hit each other and kill each other, and we're going to tackle, and we're going to yell, and we're going to wear pads and helmets and all this stuff. And then a majority of the time drives end by just giving the ball to the opponent. And we just don't talk about how strange that is. So I would say the moral of today's story is that baseball is dumb. All right, thank you for indulging me in my rants, my unnecessary thought process. This is the kind of stuff that goes through my brain, by the way. In case you were wondering, you wanted to get a little deeper connection with my synapses. That's exactly what goes on in my brain. I think about stupid stuff like punting whenever I should be thinking about, like, I don't know, the war or world peace, or I don't know, whatever the intelligent people think about. But thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you'd like. You don't have to. I mean, you know, it's up to you. But I would appreciate it if you did. If not, I don't know, maybe just come back. Maybe try another one. I know, the jury's still out. I gotta earn your trust. But yeah, I'll give it another shot sometime. So, thanks, folks. Take care.